Well, exciting day in Tiger Stadium. Our guys wanted this opportunity. They saw this as a privilege to play in this stadium and really wanted this opportunity. And obviously, the last three quarters played great football. And that's, look, at the end of the day, when you have a top team coming in, that's why you come to LSU. And our best players played their best, and we needed that. Our defense played great in the second half, obviously, against, as you saw, a very potent offense. As our guys got their cleats in the ground, they played much better. Their eye discipline was great in the second half. Holding them to, under 120 yards rushing is a great feat for any defense going against what they do at Mississippi. The quarterback was excellent again, back-to-back weeks leading the offense. He was the catalyst for us making quick decisions. He was assertive, aggressive, ran the ball. The offensive line was outstanding, as you know, really put the game away at the end. And we got stronger. I mean, we exerted our will against our opponent, which is part of what we're building here, is that we want a dominant mindset amongst our group that, come the second half, we want to be able to run the ball effectively and control our opponent and move him against his will. And I thought we did that. So, great victory. Excited for our guys. We got some time off, which we need. And we'll get a chance to get on the road recruiting and get ready for our next opponent and give these guys a little time off. So with that, we'll open up the questions.
Question, raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you, please. Yeah, go ahead.
Was Jayden, coaching the cameras back here, straight ahead?
Oh, yes.
Was Jayden expected to be that much of a run game? And what kind of, like you said, flex is that for you guys to be able to continue to do that and run downhill in the second half?
Yeah, so the structure of their defense is, a three down with six defensive backs. And when they chose to keep them back in coverage, he was in a zone read game option where he could throw it or run it. And he was on his game tonight. When he had three deep safeties, he was reading it out and keeping it. When the safeties were down, the ball was coming out on RPOs. He was really good tonight reading it out.
You obviously took a big risk coming down here to take this job. I mean, I know it's mid-season, but is there any validation you get in a win like this in Tiger Stadium that, you do have this thing in the right direction?
No. I think that's probably the furthest thing from my mind. I'm so excited for our players. I used this analogy before. They jumped in 100% with a whole new way of doing things for me, and I'm just so pleased that they're seeing positive results because of it. I think that's what I'm most excited about.
Hey, Coach. Over here.
Yes.
With the defense, what are some of the adjustments you guys made in that second half? Because you guys really shut them down.
I can't give you all of those. They're secrets. I really would like to tell you there were a lot, but I think we just got a little bit more aggressive in talking to Matt at halftime. Sometimes we tend to cover up some things that we feel like are weaknesses, and they're not really that weak. And we just kind of said, let's go play. And probably a little bit more aggressive maybe in the second half and just let the guys play.
Yeah, hey, Coach, right here. Harold Perkins was all over the field tonight, really getting in Jackson Dart's face a lot. Can you speak to his performance and just kind of how important he was to executing the defensive game plan in the second half?
He was good. He's active. As you saw, it's hard to get him on the field as much, but we felt like it was really important to get him out on the perimeter because he can run things down and he's a very good pass rusher. He's an exceptional player. I think everybody knows that. But within our structure, some guys lose some playing time because of it, and some really good players lose some playing time. He's a really good player, and he impacts our defense, no doubt.
Coach, late in the third quarter, the Micah Baskerville pressure and the Joe Fouché interception in the end zone, what did that mean in the overall game? Because they didn't sniff the end zone again after that.
Yeah, the momentum really shifted there. You know, the interception was probably the biggest play because they were threatening to score in that situation. We felt like, okay, that was the first time where we got any extension in the game from them because it was score, score, score. That was probably the one big play in the game that gave us the ability to obviously pull away a little bit from them. So that was a huge play. And, the pressure obviously had a lot to do with that. So the pressure, he puts it up, and we were able to get the big interception.
Hey, Brian, it looked like you gave Jayden a hug after the game, like right before the
I'm a big hugger. You know that.
I guess just why? And what sort of have you seen from him in the last couple of weeks?
This was a big game in a lot of ways because it was this needed to be that, we're reaching that level of consistency of performance, and I think we both knew that if he was able to solidify another performance of similar quality, that we were off and running. And so I think we both looked at each other and said, all right, let's go. It's time. And I think we both felt the same way, that he's in a very good place where he can run this offense now, and he feels very comfortable with it, and he's ready to do really good things for us.
At halftime, was a message to the team: let's clean up penalties, stop hurting ourselves. We'll be fine.
I did kind of tell him that the first thing was we're going to get the ball back, and last couple of weeks I've deferred to the second half, and I said if we have a good drive here, we're going to set the tone, but we got to clean up a couple of things, and we can't keep shooting ourselves in the foot. We're in a good position here. We put ourselves back in it. Let's clean some of those things up, and that's kind of exactly what I talked about.
Brian, over here. Your team this season now has bounced back from 2 losses, got down by 14 today, again showed resilience. To what do you attribute this team's ability to continually get off the mat?
Well, I knew the DNA in the team from the very beginning. Go back all the way to Florida State where we were down, and we fought all the way back in that game, and obviously we didn't execute an extra point, but that team was poised to win that game. So I kind of knew what we were about, in that very first game that we played, and it's been who they are from the very, very first time that I stepped on this campus with this team, is that they had fight in them. Now, all the other things, consistency, execution, doing the little things on a day-to-day basis, that's coming. And I've said this on a number of occasions. We can't just rely on just being great fighters, and we're not anymore. We're executing at a high level. We're exerting our will. Our best players are now starting to play their best football. And they're playing, quite frankly, with a lot of confidence right now, and that's a pretty good thing.
Coach, why do you think the last 2 weeks have happened? Kind of big picture. A couple of weeks ago we were here and it wasn't good, and since then you've completely turned it around.
We weren't as far away in that Tennessee game as the score indicated. Look, I went for a lot of 4th down situations that exacerbated the score. That could have been, let's keep it close, and everybody went like, wow, they played them tough. We didn't play the game to keep it close. We played it to win it. But we didn't play very well that day. Tennessee was the better football team that day. But when we went through it again and we watched the tape and we looked at it, we felt like we were a better football team. So I know perceptually we got lit up, and rightly so. We were poor that day. I coached poorly that day, and we deserved everything that we got. But when we looked at it internally, we didn't think that we were far off, and I think we're starting to prove that.
Coach, that's time for 2 more. Coach, talk about the offensive line. The defensive line before the season had all the press, and how dominant they were going to be. and the offensive line was a question, and yet they've had to have, 6 different starting offensive lines?
Yes.
And they are just looking so impressive with even the young talent that you have. You know,
Two
talk
true
about
freshmen
Brad
at
Davis's
tackle.
job.
Yeah, Brad's doing an incredible job. It's been a revolving cycle of players in and out of the lineup. The 2 freshmen have been outstanding for us. I just can't say enough about the resiliency and the toughness and the mindset. Look, I mean, we ended the game against Mississippi today with that 5-minute drive. The game ended with them knowing that we were going to run the ball at them, and we did that for 5 minutes. And that is a mindset that we wanted to build, and Brad's done a great job with that.
One more for Coach.
Hey, Coach. Coach, Kayshon seems to be getting in a groove of more
Yes.
targets, so more production. Is that definitely a key in the last couple weeks?
Yeah, I think his targets are up. I think I think he's feeling comfortable with his role and his leadership role. We've elevated his leadership role, and he's been outstanding. He grabbed me on the sideline and said, "Coach, don't forget the first things that you have to say when you go in the locker room." He's even like scripting my stuff now. I mean, I was like, "Oh, thanks, Kayshon. I appreciate it. I couldn't find you the first week. Now you're running the show." But that's what I love about him. He's been so engaged, so part of what we're doing, and we're better because of it. And you can see when he touches the football, he's electric, and we're here because our best players are playing their best football.
Hey, Coach. What were the first things you had to say?
What's that?
What were the first things you had to say?
Oh, I'm sorry. He said, make sure you mention the defense and how they shut down that running game. I said, all right, he's talking about the defense now.